he has been here before and seems like he's not, so I asked him to meet me here, and then I would be willing to come down with him and meet with the police officer and go over it.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. When are you going to start? When are you going to, is it already on? How'd you know? What'd you say?
It's like the video's not on.
You didn't answer my question about the police station or roof. I said or both. When I said police station or roof, you just said police station. You don't want to stay over at my house. Are you fine with where you're at? Because you're invited.
Yeah,
I don't have the kids this weekend. If you want a roof over your head, that's okay.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Anyway, I can make
How you doing, man?
Bruce is with me. We're actually trying to see if I can talk about everything that's been going on.
Okay.
Yeah, how you doing?
Okay.
I was introduced to Michael by God's providence
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago. We've had many conversations. He's got some either fantastical stories, wild stories, or he's got some information which are factual.
Yeah, we talked about 2 hours not too long ago. Yeah. And what do you do?
I work in the community. I'm involved in the community.
Okay.
I've stayed in touch with the Delphi murders community. So we've had some pretty
Both
honest
parishioners over at St. Patrick.
face-to-face talks. And
Cool.
did I tell you not? I said, Michael, you sound conspiracy theory. And then we laughed and we looked up at the moon.
Yeah.
This is at the Adoration Chapel. And then the next week, I'm watching a baseball game and I get up on my chair and I go, I gotta get to the Adoration Chapel. And there's no plans. And I get there and there's Michael. He's in the thing, he's got his bags. And I asked him where he's going. So I invited him to stay at my house.
Sure.
And once again, he's telling me these stories and he's got information.
We've set
Yeah, we've talked to him and we've checked out that information, and Michael knows that. I mean, he's told me some other stuff. I've checked out the
Well, there's
stories
one
about
charge
some
right now.
FBI stuff.
I've even asked you, and I do have
Yeah.
on audio.
Yeah.
You called me a snitch, and if I was such a good snitch,
Yeah.
and will
Yeah,
at
you
least
don't
make me-
have you don't have anything on audio that I called you a snitch, because I've never called you a snitch. So
But I did ask you on when it came to Paige Briand Hurley, the one I was an active informant, active witness.
for who?
Paige Briand Hurley, the driver of Karina's case.
Who are you an active informant for?
FBI, Joint Terrorism Task Force.
Well, that's funny because I've called the FBI and they don't have too good of things to say about you, Michael.
Deputy prosecutor. I've got texts, I've got audio,
I understand.
all this proving where I've actually got federal arrest
Yeah.
off my intel. I've got hard writ, I can back that up. Deputy prosecutor had said it was a Michael Curtis, Joint Terrorism Task Force, field
Okay.
service agent.
I understand. But the thing is, you're going around telling people that you work for the FBI or you work for the Kokomo Police Department, and that's not necessarily true.
But why are you allowing a witness to actually have threats, harassment, coercion down to Paige Shirley? I do have an active protective order. And what I was getting at is when I actually spoke up on that, when it came to Karina's case, I've got a protective order on Paige Briand Hurley right now.
Okay, that's between you and her and whatever else. If you've got a protective order and she's bothering you or something like that, then she needs to be arrested. And you need to file with the courts that she's violating that protective order.
I've been trying. I've even been asking you guys for help and assistance to actually do what I need to do and actually speak the truth.
You need to go to the prosecutor. If she is bothering you and you've got a protective order against her,
I've tried.
and you
If you
file
look up
through
the audio and
courts.
video through the court, I even told the court where Kokomo Police Department was lying what's happened. I was getting an excuse, and I do have a video where it's right down here in the interview room where I was getting excuses why the protective order took a month to get on a known drug felon.
We don't do protective orders. That's a judge.
And I'm now working with ICE and another agency with off Caitlin's case. We're a known sex offender here in town.
Michael, talking to ICE or calling Rob Baker and saying, hey, and then telling him, I work with the chief of police, that's not the truth. So
I never said that. You're misconstruing what I'm saying, because
I understand, but I guarantee you,
there's a
that
mother that's
5 minutes after you walk out here, after you walk out of here, after I spent 2 hours with you the other day, you threw me under the bus on that I'm a piece of whatever and everything else. So look, dude, I understand where you're coming from. These guys are good at what they do.
About the first week on
They're
the streets, I
really,
was
they're
young.
really
You
good
guys
at what
don't
they
care.
do.
If
Okay?
I was killed, you guys don't care.
No, that's not the case. We do care. We don't want anybody killed.
Then I have a question.
Who's going to kill
Instead
you?
of validating, giving my witness rights, why is that never happening?
Who's going to kill you?
I've got Ronnie Shue.
Who's Ronnie Shue?
He was with One Nation Motorcycle Club. I just seen him the other night, and he said, if I ever see this individual that's been shit about me, I'll bash his face in and I'll make sure he's 6 feet under.
Is he talking about you?
Yeah, and I've
You
actually
just said
had,
you just saw him. How can you just see him the other day and him say
I didn't
this?
realize who I was, but I was sitting right next to him.
This
He
is
said,
the-
I will bash
Said
his
he said he
face
didn't
in.
recognize him. Look,
If I say I'm going to bash your face in, I'm going to know who you are.
Most
I mean,
likely.
nothing
Most
against
Middle of the
what's
night.
going
Listen, you're-
on, but this is going on for years.
I understand.
I like Michael.
I get it.
If I didn't like him, I wouldn't.
But why am I getting refused to get validated on my witness rights? But at the same time, if I get validated,
I want to know
How are you getting validated?
if the information he's given you about the murders in Delphi. He showed me Gabe Ellis and some different things like that. I'm sure you know the name.
If he showed me information that was true, then those people would be under arrest and they'd be in jail right
You
now.
do know the name Gabe Ellis, right? Is that-
Sure, we know all kinds of people's names.
All right,
so was he not wanted for child exploitation the day of when the girls happened?
I believe he's
Here in
probably
town.
been arrested for it before, hasn't he?
The child exploitation charges, they're all gone right now. He's got meth and meth dealing. That's all that's on him right
I
now.
don't deal with that. The courts deal with
Sorry to
that.
interject, but we've got a state trooper detective here, and
Yeah.
also one of ours who speaks with him, so I'm sure you guys.
That'd be okay. How about that? You want to talk to the
I've been
state?
begging to talk to anybody.
Well, that's what we're fixing, these guys are gonna talk to you,
Chief,
you're gonna
thank
get
you.
what information you wanna provide them with, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then
I
we'll
believe
be
I'm
done,
in his
okay?
life
You
for a
can
reason.
Tell us what
I
you need
speak
to tell us,
frankly
okay?
like you have. I think the tactics.
We'll take care
of him.
If you want.
Come on out here.
Okay.
Come on, Mike, these guys are gonna talk to you.
What's your name?
Michael
Michael what?
Phillips.
Michael Phillips.
And I don't care what they say. And if you look up a field service agent with Joint Terrorism Task Force, Michael Curtis. What I'm going to get at is with Michael Curtis. He was a field service agent with the Joint Terrorism Task Force. I was actually an informant under the code name Baffy. If you write this down, like this is going to be crucial. This is my code name with the
That's a
FBI.
code name, I'm not writing it down.
It's my informant name.
I'm not writing it down.
But what I was getting at.
There's a reason for that. If that proves to be true, that don't need to be written down on a piece of paper anywhere.
Then there's another thing I've been asked, even the Senate Judicial Committee, to look up is the text between me and Michael Curtis with the Joint Terrorism Task Force as an informant speaking to my handler. I was eventually let go due to Department of Justice push in Karina's case. It was October 10th going into October 11th. I stopped on my way home going from 1004 East Walnut heading over to 623.5 Woodland Avenue, over by Highland Park where I lived. In between, I took Washington Street. I got past the Little Caesars drive-thru, and that's when I seen Karina McClurkin walking. At first, I rode my bike right by. Didn't think anything of it.
Are you here, our lady that works up here in the front desk said you had information about the murders in Delphi.
Gabriel Sebastian Ellis.
Is that what you're here for? Or are you here for
I've been begging them
or are
ever
you
since.
here about Karina McClurkin?
It started with Karina's, because when I was speaking up on Karina's, I'm telling you, it's the same group, and I'm about to prove this, where in 4 missing cases, he had a direct hand in. I need you to look up Derek German's ammonia charge. There's going to be 4 months later, you're going to see Derek, not Derek, but Gabriel Sebastian Ellis and a Heather Ferris getting busted, same exact location where Derek German got his ammonia charge. That's snitch number one that's supposed to have been happening. That's on an assumption why Gabe did what he did. The second name is going to be a Christy Lynn Martin out of LaPorte. It's one of Gabe's dealers. There's an assumption that this is another reason why Gabe's turned into his own judge, jury, and executioner. When it came to Delphi, I need you guys to look up his mugshot 24 hours after here when he was picked up for the child exploitation here in town. Look on his left side of his face in that mugshot. You're going to see bridge of his nose, left side of his cheek, whole left side of his face swelled up, and it looks like he took a nice little kick. And you're going to notice his hair and his facial completely shaven, fresh. But where it's getting at is Tina Riddell. It is Christy Lynn Martin's sister. She's giving me an address, the 915 Buckeye, where there's blood. She swears up and down it was the Delphi girls. Where she's even put peroxide, tampered with the evidence. She puts this in writ. And where she's actually saying what happened to them, why it happened was Christy Lynn Martin was the second one that pretty much set Gabe off. Gabriel Sebastian Ellis, which, like I said, he put himself in two already prior to Delphi. Karina McClurkins, and then Sierra Daly, the underage girl he was in possession of 24 hours after Delphi. I've been asking them, and no matter what Baker says, he's looked at me, and if I was such a good FBI snitch, then why aren't they doing something? He kind of leaned back like this. I've been jerked around. I've been trying to get a hold of you guys, anybody, to take me seriously. And it's the whole fact, I'm proving. Before Karina, I was over 2.5 years a federal informant. I was doing Antifa, militia, you get the idea. And I can prove this down to if I can get release of those texts between me and that agent, what I'm going to be proving is I was already trying to speak up in Karina's case, the same group. And I'm going to be proving Gabe Ellison, the same group, went on to do Delphi. It was 100% preventable, but I was being negligent, lied to, disregarded, and when almost 8, 9 different times, so almost a year, I was told I was going to get my agent to come up, talk to me, get me on record, get this to the criminal investigation unit with the FBI, get this seen. His lies, his negligence and disregard, it's led me to where I'm at right now. I'm being ridiculed. I'm on the streets. I was harassed. I was threatened. I've been asking them, and if you look up Paige Brian Turley, I've been asking, why is the witness rights?
Let me ask you, so if I'm understanding you right here, Michael, what you're suggesting is that Gabe Ellis is the one responsible for Karina McClarkin and the 2 girls in Delphi.
And along with his underage girl. Out of 4 missing cases, there's 3 deaths.
Okay. So between Karina, the 2 girls in Delphi, Gabe's responsible, along with his 15-year-old girlfriend.
I do want you guys to ask.
Let me finish.
Yes, sir.
And that Gabe is involved with some other people along with that. And you've tried passing this information off to your handler, who is, because you're an informant with the FBI.
He told me not to go local.
He told you not to go local. What was his reason for not wanting you to go local?
If I was to be pegged or getting a misconstruction with the local authorities, which after a while he actually told me to go local, they at first thought I was just withholding information for a year. And I've been proving, even to the deputy prosecutor, where when he looked up Mike Fries, it was a Michael Curtis full service agent with the FBI. Even he started realizing, whoa, because the whole time, and I even proved it to him.
Okay. Well, but before you go any further,
yes,
I've had some I don't have any involvement in the Delphi murders because that's obviously outside my jurisdiction. Karina McClarkin, however, is within my jurisdiction. And I have
105 East Harrison.
I have already investigated Gabe Ellis, okay? And all the information you're telling me, I already know. Because I'm the one who worked the case on Gabe Ellis. They got him locked up on the child exploitation, which also led to the investigation into Karina. So all that you just told me, I'm already aware of.
It just makes me sick because even as an active informant, why I stopped to help her that whole time, I've been speaking up, I've been telling them the truth. I have not even been allowed my witness rights.
I don't know who was wasn't paying attention to you, other than the only reason I can foresee somebody not paying attention to that is maybe because I had already worked this on Gabe Ellis. It's still an open investigation. So I'm not saying that I don't believe you're anything else, because I'm the one who worked at I know.
It just makes me sick, the reason I'm on the streets right now.
Okay.
I've got videos for like local and a few others.
Listen, I sympathize with you there, but I've got no control over the FBI or any other branch of the federal government. Now, what I can tell you is that if you've got a beef with the way the FBI has handled you as an informant,
And I've tried going to the OPR, Office of Public
you
Responsibility.
need to go to the Inspector General.
I've been trying to ask somebody, like even a detective like yourself, if I can have somebody at law enforcement push them, like, can you please?
I cannot push them in any way, shape, or form. That's the way I am a police officer and a detective for a city police department. I have no ties to the federal government whatsoever. The way the Constitution's set up, there's a supremacy clause in the Constitution that means the federal government has power over its state government. I have absolutely no authority over anybody with the feds. I cannot, before you, I just don't want you to waste your time telling me all this stuff when I can't do anything for you, okay? And I never like to use that term, and I don't use it loosely when I tell somebody there's nothing I can do for you, because I don't like using that phrase. I will go out of my way to help anybody, but I do have to stop you right there, because I can't. There's absolutely nothing with the federal government that I can help you with, Michael. Nothing.
And you said you've been working crazy. You know there's
all that you're getting ready to tell me, have told me, and would be getting ready to tell me about Gabe, I already know.
the drugs.
You know.
And then that's another thing I need you to keep in mind. Like when I talked about Derek German, the ammonia charge, if you look up 4 months afterwards, you're going to find Gabriel Sebastian Ellis and Heather Ferris arrested 2.2 miles over from that bridge, showing he has acquaintance, he's well aware of the area, he's actually got charges in the
I'm
area.
already aware of that.
And the thing is, if you actually look up Christy Lynn Martin, you're going to see yet again Gabriel Sebastian Ellis, Derek German, right there on her friends list. And this whole time I've been speaking up, but I've been threatened, harassed, people even showing up my girlfriend's front porch. That's the reason I'm on the streets right now, because it got to the point, and I even got it validated the other night. And Reese kind of laughing at me. What exactly happened was in the middle of the night, I had my hoodie up, the hat was down.
Okay.
I stepped right next to Ronnie's shoe, which I put him on blast because the whole fact, you threatened me. This is what's being allowed. Down to what happened to a witness and informant. No matter what, the informant rights are in play when it came to Paige Turley. Those witness and the informant violations, the threats, harassment, stalking, intimidation, when deaths are involved, it's no less than 30 years, correct? If you look that wall up.
That is a fact that you're talking about it being an informant for the FBI. I don't work federal law, I work state law.
But even at state level.
I'm not saying I disbelieve you. I'm just saying I don't know, because
And with having an active protective order on a known drug felon, which I'm proving was the driver in Karina's case, and she did sell her truck shortly after Karina's case, bought a light-colored Mustang. But what I'm getting at in Karina and Paige Turley, I was an active informant the night I stopped and helped Karina. That is proving out to be true. I've been asking to get validated. I don't care if it's polygraph. Instead of calling me a liar, instead of not believing me. For the life of me.
I'm not going to run a polygraph on you because a bunch of yahoos out on the street run their mouth. I'm not going to do that.
But what I'm asking for is to get my witness rights, validate me, instead of like Baker and the rest of them call me a liar. If I can prove that I am telling the truth.
I'm not calling you a liar. I'm telling you that that is not what polygraph is for. We are very selective about who gets a polygraph, and on a criminal case, it's...
And you did bring up the U.S. Constitution, so when it comes constitutionally, when it comes to even state, witness, informants, speaking up.
There is absolutely nothing in the United States Constitution that specifies anything about informants. Absolutely zero.
So the 18 code
That's law. Those are statutes. It's passed by Congress.
And that's state and federal. And I am asking.
Because here the problem you run into with a lot of those laws is the First Amendment does cover free speech, which means people can run their mouth an awful lot before it gets to the point of breaking the law, because everybody's entitled to an opinion. Okay? Now, if you were threatened as an informant for the FBI, you need to take that up with the FBI.
I've tried and it doesn't help when actually what happened here.
I can't, with what happened here at this department.
And it's the whole refusal to even act or even help me out.
It's not that I don't want to help you out. I can't help you out because you're dealing with the feds. You need to continue dealing with the feds. Does that make sense?
And kind of, sort of, but it's kind of...
I can't help you because I am a state law enforcement officer. Well, I'm a sworn officer in Indiana, not the FBI.
Well,
and if you're telling me that you were acting as an agent for the FBI, then that needs to be who you report to.
And under the state jurisdiction...
And if you have a problem with a particular agent that you are working with, then you need to take that up with his supervisor. If you get no satisfaction there, then you are going to have to go to the Inspector General's office. And they cover oversight of the FBI.
And both guys, can I at least get your guys' name, because they just
Sergeant Richard Benzinger, Detective Chuck Meyer. I'm Kokomo Police, he's Indiana State Police. Okay?
And that's one thing I was asking when it comes to state police-wise. Am I correct if I can prove I've got a protection order as an informant and witness, and I'm not even allowed my witness rights? Am I correct when I'm asking for at least the charges of the informant and witness tampering, coercion, threats? If I can prove that with a protective order, am I valid for the request for that charge, very least, to go on the driver? That would start the further investigation. If she gets at least 30 years, you think seriously the driver's going to be like, I'm not going to talk? When you start adding the time up on at least the driver, you're going to start unfolding and the dominoes are going to start hitting. I'm proving enough to get the charges on the driver. I can't even get those right now. I've got an active protective order that's about to end in December 18th.
What Howard?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's on Paige Brianne Hurley. She is a known drug felon, and it took Kokomo Police Department, Howard County, a month to get them to serve a known drug felon.
How has she violated the protective order?
It was actually during the month. It was about 2 different times, and I actually came in here and I actually did have one on video where I'm actually sitting here holding my protective order. And I was like, it took a month for that protective order to go in play, and she's already violated it.
That's not uncommon.
But it's just kind of concerning, and that's another thing. With the state being here, I'm asking you guys, nothing against Kokomo. There's 2 underage girls that were just found in an underage, a known sexual offender over at the towers. Caitlin, her mom's right now pushing federal charges on one of those individuals because he is a known sexual offender. There was 2 underage girls back to back within 48 hours found at his location. Nothing's really been done. She's having issues even out there at Kinsey. They even asked for a rape kit, medical attention to be on Caitlin. The second missing girl that was found over at the sexual offenders. I believe it was Austin Robert Smith over at the towers. That is one thing. Even this mom, she's trying to push federally. And I actually told this mom, right here on Sycamore, down to the backpack, how full the backpack was, the hoodie she was wearing, the clothes she was wearing. The mom even said, good chance I seen her over there. There's almost 100%, she's almost 100% positive I did see her daughter. And it was shortly right before she was busted over the towers with that underage, not underage, but it was a sexual offender. He is a registered sex offender here in Kokomo. And we've been kind of fact-checking and looking in. I'm almost wanting to say he's got an active warrant. I think, if I remember right, it was a revocation of work release. And we're asking, 2 underage girls are busting his apartment. He is a known sexual offender, and yet he's still walking. And even that mom, Caitlin's mom, has even been asking here recently, KPD-wise, Why is anything getting done? And she's asking for the sexual exploitation charges to be going on that individual. That's kind of what even these families have been dealing with. I've been even having her mom and a few others tell me thank you. And if you guys don't believe me, get a hold of Mike Patty. I'm in the process of getting legal counsel, and he said, no, sir, I get legal counsel. Mike Patty is talking to my legal counsel, and I'm this close to getting federal legal counsel. Mike Patty is releasing information to my legal counsel because he even agrees where I'm getting at, where I'm pointing, where I'm looking at. Not only does Gabe Ellis have family ties, he's got arrest records, not even 2 miles from the bridge. And where I'm getting at on Gabe, he's got the family ties, he's got the sexual exploitation, which is now gone. He's got meth and meth dealing right now, held on in 164411 DOC. I've been fact-checking with the DOC. We've been looking into this. But when it comes to Gabe Ellis, there's the drugs affiliation.
You're saying the child exploitation case on Gabe Ellis is gone?
Right now, when you look up the DOC number, docket number 164411, when he is held right now in the DOC custody, you're seeing a methamphetamine and you're seeing a dealing in methamphetamine charge. The rest of the charging, including the gun charge, illegal possession of a firearm by a felon, nowhere to be found. My case docket, anything.
That's because it was part of a plea agreement. And prosecutors and judges and defense attorneys do that.
But
they will drop it. They will drop one charge in exchange for a guilty plea on the others. That's just what they do. And as far as the other deal, where you're talking about an open case with 2 other girls that's been involved with a child sexual predator, it's not that the case isn't getting worked. Yeah, he might still be walking free if he posted bond. That's 6th Amendment to the Constitution. Everybody's entitled to post bond.
He's still DOC.
Now let me finish. So yes, he might be walking free. And when he does get convicted, it's not a life sentence. So he might do his time, and then sooner or later, he's going to get out. He's going to be walking the streets. So that's going to happen. As far as anything getting handled too quickly, I'm right there with you. I wish that a lot of these cases could get worked a lot quicker. I've got 20 of them sitting there on my desk. He's got another 20 sitting on his desk, and they're all child exploitation. And we can only work about one at a time. So, pardon me for taking that a bit personal when somebody has a bitch because we're not doing something quick enough. There's only 2 of us working them right here in Howard County. We can only do so much in so much time. Now, I'm going to go back to the Gabe Ellis thing. Like I said, everything you've said about Gabe Ellis, I'm already aware of. Already. I'm the one who worked the case on it. I know what happened with it.
I have one request for state and local.
No, we're about done here. Because your main gripe is over a violation of a protective order. The order got served, and what you're telling me is that there was some kind of violation of that protective order before she was served with it. Now, once she's served with it, if she does something to violate it after she has been served, then we can talk. But until then, she's as far as it taking a month to get her served, don't know what to tell you. Everybody gets those things issued. You're lucky. You're lucky if it got served in a month. Do you realize how many of those orders get issued every day? And it's up to the sheriff's department to go out and serve every one of those people. And not every one of them wants to be found. And we just don't have a magic crystal ball we can look at and say, oh, there they are. It would be, if 20 of them got served in a day, that would take well over 20 sheriff's deputies and a whole lot of hours, and you ain't going to get 20 of them served in a day.
Michigan just did it. Over 183.
Okay. We're talking Kokomo, Howard County. We work the best we can with the resources that we have.
And if you don't have enough resources, you have the authority, especially if you have a FBI.
I don't have the authority to be able to go over. I can't bend over and shit out a person.
You can ask FBI to come in and assist.
I'm not, no. It's not a federal case. We're talking about state cases. Even the murders over in Delphi are a state case. The FBI is just there to assist. Okay? Now, I've told you what you need to do. And I've told you all the information that you're telling me, I'm already aware of. Okay? So, I told you, I'm telling you what your resources are as to where to solve your problem. And as I tell you this, you deflect and start going off on another tangent, which makes it very hard to follow you when you do that. And then it ends up all looping around back to the same thing. Okay? So, we're going to end this with, if you've got a problem with your FBI handler, you need to go to that handler's supervisor. If you don't get satisfaction with the FBI by dealing with your handler's supervisor, then you are going to have to go to the Inspector General's office. Can't help you out any more than that. As far as Karina McClurkin and Delphi murders, everything that you've told me about Gabe Ellis, I'm already aware of. Okay?
So I'm not making anything up when it comes to Gabe, am I correct?
I'm not saying you are, I'm not saying you're not. It's open case. I can't discuss it. I can't discuss what I know and what I don't know. I will tell you that I am already aware of everything that you've already told me. Okay?
And I got one.
Now, wait. I'm already aware of all that. Okay? And that, yes.
Come here.